The dream tickets tonight, Tandesi and Joe Tanner, who will be with us for the next hour. It's Monday. I'm Darren McCaffrey, live from Westminster, and this is the Politics Hub. A very good evening and welcome to the programme. We're going to begin tonight with the war in Ukraine. As the Prime Minister says, the push for peace is at a critical stage. So Keir Starmer hosted talks with President Zelensky and European leaders in Downing Street earlier and said he wouldn't push Ukraine to accept a peace deal. And it is our major story tonight. And delighted to say on our panel, we have got the chair of the Commons Defence Select Committee, Tandesi, and the political comms and strategist, former advisor to Boris Johnson, Joe Tanner. A very good evening to you both. Joe, just on what's happening again today, I mean, it does feel that we're now in this kind of slightly odd dance where, you know, Donald Trump seemingly kind of supports largely Russia's position. European leaders have to step in, whether it's here in London, whether it's in Paris, whether it's in DC itself, to try and convince Donald Trump to row back. And yet we're going around in this continuous circle.
Yeah, and at the end of it, we don't seem to be any further forward. I guess and there is a danger because, you know, Keir Starmer's had this very sort of strategic role. He's been trying to stay close to Donald Trump, but he's also tried to position himself very much in the middle of what's going on with other European leaders and, you know, steadfast support for Ukraine. And we saw, obviously, after that whole debacle in the White House when Zelensky was treated pretty appallingly, and we saw the sort of reaction of other European leaders. I think the problem we've got is we are stuck now. You know, ultimately, it doesn't really matter what the coalition of the willing say or do. There is still a significant reliance on the US's position on this. And this whole sort of back-channeling that Trump's got himself into with Putin means that everyone sort of waits with bated breath for what's going to come next. And we know that obviously Trump is very, very sort of unpredictable, which is
very
said to be one of his strengths, but also a thing we fear.
I think a president who's making it very clear that he's incredibly frustrated. Joe, can I ask you just a wider point, the point I brought up there with Mark, because, you know, there are a lot of serious people suggesting that, you know, we are now on an inevitable path to Russia. You've got I mean, how much does that, as you sit here tonight in 2025, that you think, wow, is this really going to happen? Are we really... Does it worry you, essentially, is my bottom line?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I think there's no question that the world we live in is the most uncertain it's been for a long time. And we're sitting here trying to rationalise the views and the potential actions of two very irrational individuals that are leading very big superpowers in the world. And in the middle of it, we're part of a small group, it seems.
And we are literally in the middle, that's the point.
We are literally in the middle. And also that we've been part of a significant talking shop that it doesn't feel is making any particular progress. And so I think it's pretty scary. And at a time when we have, as a country, we don't have a lot of money. We're behind on big decisions that need to be made. We don't have the infrastructure to build the stuff and make the stuff that we had of old. And yeah, I mean, you know, if we had to call everyone up tomorrow, what would that look like? I have no idea. OK, yeah, concerning indeed. As the Prime Minister said, a critical day today. The Conservative Party have been upping the pressure on the government's national inquiry into grooming gangs today, insisting it must leave no stone unturned. It comes after rows of the inquiry's scope and criticism from survivors of the candidates to chair it. Camille Badenoch said our draft terms of reference for the government to adopt in the hope that it will speed up the process. But she also faced questions over her own party's record on the issue. Joe, do you think it's been politicised? Or has it now got to the situation where, you know, as Tam was pointing out, there's a lot of survivors who've got a lot of different impression on how this inquiry should go, and it's going to prove quite difficult to satisfy everyone? It's kind of a bit of both. I mean, if you look at things we've had inquiries on over the years, look at one of the more recent ones, the infected blood scandal. I actually did some work on that. And, you know, there were various groups involved in that process that all had different views, felt that certain groups were being looked at more carefully or were being considered, their interests were being considered over something else. You get that a lot. And one of the challenges about this is the fact that, let's face it, the system has let these people down for a long time. Why on earth would they trust anybody? You know, you're
But
right
isn't
about
that the
Jess
point?
Phillips.
It's the entire system. It's everyone from the police right up to judges.
That's the problem. Some of these inquiries that we've had have seen successive failures over successive years, which means that by the time someone comes and says, here you go, this is what we're going to do, why would you, as a survivor, not fight to get the justice that you feel is right? And we've got Baroness Louise Casey involved, who, you know, I'm a huge fan of. I think there is very little that woman doesn't touch that is not dealt with properly. She's very good at what she does. But, you know, it's a lot of pressure on a small number of individuals. And we're having a debate about, you know, jury trials and stuff at the moment. We're back to this situation of, you know, our system, even when we're looking at investigating and we're looking at inquiries, we're massively inefficient. We're not good at doing these, but they do need to be done. And if they're going to be done, they have to be done properly.
I mean, it's pretty clear that I think the Prime Minister would like her back in Cabinet. Maybe, dare I suggest, because it's quite good for him.
Well, he couldn't say he wouldn't. I mean, it's one of those, if it comes up, you have to show that, you know, it's with regret that she left. And I think he made that point at the time. And she is still a very big figure for the Labour movement. There's no question. And this is at a time where he's got Labour together, this sort of supportive group that helped get him into the leadership, apparently canvassing its sort of supporters, asking who would be the next leader. I mean, he's operating in very difficult times. So ultimately, you know, they always say you should keep your enemies closer. Whether she's a genuine enemy or not, we'll wait and see.
Well, in the end, isn't the bottom line here that Angela Raynor maybe shouldn't have had to resign?
Well, the question is, how long do you
It's like a
stay
prison
out of
sentence,
government
purgatory sentence.
if something happens? Look at someone like Louise Haigh, who would probably say, hang on a minute, you know, should I not have been in, given that what I did was a long time ago?
I tell you where you are
versus
correct.
Angela Raynor, who was something much more recent. So it's how do you judge these things?
Go on, briefly,
Where
John.
you are correct, there used to be a view that you didn't come back until after the election, general election, when you'd been endorsed by your constituents and voted back in.
Well, I suspect we will see Angela Raynor back in the Cabinet before the next election, and all I would say in retention to that is I think she could be the next Labour leader. No? Yes, no?
Ooh.
No? I would say where we are right now, it's a battle between her and Wes Streeting.
Well, apparently
There was talk of a
it's
pact
an
the other
illustrious
day.
group, isn't it? Apparently there's plenty of people that are being canvassed as to whether they should be the
There's
next
too much speculation, Darren.
There's
There's
too
too much
much
speculation. I think there's no vacancy at the moment, but we'll see in the future.
John, it's been a pleasure. Joe, Tan, it's also been a pleasure. Thank you very much
Pleasure.
indeed. That is it for me for tonight.